What's up, guys? If you are trying to improve your business communication, marketing, messaging, sales, or even just trying to improve your personal influence out there with others, then what you might be needing is better storytelling. My name's Brian. I've been reading this book. It's called Whoever Tells the Best Story Wins. And as I've been reading it, I've learned some very valuable lessons when it comes to communication, marketing, messaging, even sales that can help you improve your influence with those that you interact with. And so if you're interested in learning about these, I'm going to share in this brief video just my 2 key takeaways that I've learned so far from this book that I think can help you make real progress with your business, right? The first key takeaway I want to share is the importance of learning how to think in stories. Most people out there inside of the business and financial industry are very much attuned to the philosophy of thinking logically, being data driven, and trying to make decisions separated from their emotions, right? And they think that logic and data, critical decision making and critical thinking, that these are the tools that are going to make good business decisions and that are going to create influence in others. To an extent, that's very true. And these are very valuable skills to have and that you should be trying to cultivate. You should be learning how to collect data, use data and statistics to make, good calculated decisions. However, when it comes to influencing and when it comes to communication, often data is not enough. The quote from the book that really stuck out to me is that it's one thing to know what the right thing to do is, but it's something entirely different to feel like doing it, right? And so you can create a presentation, you can present the data, you can present the facts, you can present why this decision might be the right decision to make. But if you can't convince people and motivate them to do it, often there's going to be pushback and you're going to have a hard time making good decisions in your business, right? And so what you want to do is you want to learn how to harness the power of thinking in story, right? And the reason you want to think in stories is because stories have the power to create emotional motivation. Or in other words, they help people feel like doing the right thing, okay? Because it's not enough just to know what the right thing is. You have to feel like doing it. It's not enough just to communicate what the right thing is, maybe to your potential clients, but you have to help them feel like making the right choices. And that's where stories come in, right? And so that's why it's so important to learn how to think in stories. So the second thing to do is you want to learn how to think in stories. And so how you can start doing this, the book uses this acronym called SEE. You need to learn how to see stories. And SEE, S-E-E, it stands for significant emotional event. Any significant emotional event can be harnessed into a story. And it can be turned into a very powerful, motivating force in your communications. And so what you want to do is you just want to look into your past or look into what you're experiencing day by day and think about the emotional events that are happening in your life and in the lives of people that are around you. And you can actually turn those into very effective stories with the right practice. Now, the second key takeaway that I learned from this book that I wanted to share in this video is learning how to find stories to tell, right? You might be convinced and sold on the idea that you need to use stories in order to improve your communications. But then the question is, well, how do I know what story to tell or how do I find them, right? And so this book offers 4 suggestions that you can use to kind of categorize stories and help come up with ideas that are going to be effective. And so these 4 proven categories are: 1, tell a story about a time that you shined or succeeded. 2, you want to share a story about a time that you blew it or failed. 3, you want to tell a story about a time that you interacted with a mentor and you learned something very valuable. 4 would be you want to tell a story that is related to a book or a popular movie or a current event, something that's very relatable and that people already know, and you can kind of use that story to create the motivation that you need. Now, I just want to give you a brief example that kind of shows that these stories really can be effective. I'll tell you a story about a time I interacted with a mentor. So one of my mentors in my life is my dad. And my dad, as I grew up, he actually was very good at creating businesses that really helped him provide a great life for my siblings and my family, right? And although I didn't necessarily realize it at the time, as I've grown older, the impact has only increased. And now, having seen the success and having seen the blessings that have poured into my life through his hard work, it's created a very high sense of motivation for me. I want to be able to succeed and follow this great example from a mentor. I hope you can see that, this brief story of my dad has really had a big impact on me. And that's the power of stories, right? And the more you practice them, the better you'll get, and the better you'll get, the bigger your influence will be when it comes to your communications. So again, these were a few of the brief takeaways that I've learned from this book, Whoever Tells the Best Story Wins. I'm about halfway through it, and so I'm going to post a video next week about the continuing lessons that I'm learning as I read this book. If you're interested in picking up a copy and want to read along with me, there's a link down in the description to where you can purchase a copy of this book. If you want, go ahead in the comments, write what you're learning or what you thought about this video, and I look forward to talking to you guys next week. Thanks.